Hello, this is continuation of that lecture that will be now on pleasure scale. Pleasure scale in consultories or medical offices has to consist of adding to the pain scale of actual experiences from -5 to 5 in relation to being by a particular person or partner that is present pursued sexually. From -5 to 5, we scale the degree of sexual pleasure it, that is a continuum with being in love all the way to even spiritual experiences, because one particular person is loved in reciprocity, because the reciprocity is needed to escalate that much. So -5 is being uh, angry or in frank hurt when a person pursues sexual act, and toward the persistence and proximity of that sexual act, feeling a grief if not possible to defend self, leading to even intents to kill oneself, and or a desperate intent to remove that person of self and all of body residues of that person. The second, so that's -5. -4 is the perception of anger. So a person is hateful or angry when someone else or that person pursues sexually, and the closer again it is to physical intercourse and insemination in females, or in males to having a child, that it brings rage, because again, if there is arousal, because a person, both of those persons, whoever we are considering, can be in full scale sexual arousal. A person can be prepared to have sex. However, if person is unwanted, that brings the following scale. So this is how we know if that person is source or not of that sexual arousal. And if not, mind, source of that person is mind, and that person knows who is, and the person who that person feels love for, that person, nobody else, okay? That person is only one able to say, this is who I love. Nobody else can say so, and pursuing such idea causes person asking for psychotropic drugs, being drunk and being sedated, because some cretin, or I don't know how to call it, in rumors forces over and over unwanted sexually person in a relationship that is happy or has normal sex, or in a relationship where a person is single, like I am single, and that person is unwanted, and that is source of having that persons being half dead somewhere, medicated all life, to avoid being harassed and accused of source being of that woman or man sexual arousal being a person, spouse or priest or somebody else. I'm not saying that there are no cases. Every single person who tells you this is who I would dream about having sex with, that is the truth. That is the truth. Otherwise, you can go away with any speculations and do not impede persons then from living their life, because persons do not need to be caused anything if that is respected and person is not pursued non-stop by others. We do not need to pair up, because we are not meat business to produce an offspring or for any work of some sorts. Nor it is essential to survival. It kills, however, in numbers to push unwanted partners because of signs and symptoms of arousal. So that scale is to tell you now, from a person, whoever it is, the new butcher in ER or on the street, if person's source of sexual arousal is you or it is somebody else, okay? And if that somebody else is presented, if that is perpetrator, or if that is actually partner, sexual partner. So now that is from -5 to 5. We take that person outside, unless they are glued to one another, which may still be that that other person if that person pursues and that person grimaces, wants to fight, that person still is not necessarily the source. It can be fake, like in the movies. So from -5 again, impotence or inability to shake off a person, for instance, being raped, and that person forcing self to closer to fertilization, more there is a disgust. It is an emergency, first police emergency, and then medical one to remove residues of that person so that there is no pregnancy, that person is washed, and that person does not need anything else to be fine. If person is drunk or not is completely 100% irrelevant, and also it is irrelevant to what it is that somebody else thinks about it. The person is source. Person in distress, such as saying I don't want to have anything to do with person with whom I had sex, that person is to be given rape kit and to be then given abortifacient or medical attention to remove whatever it is otherwise that person will try with self to remove from grief and disgust of being raped. So that's -5. Regardless of if that person was blushing, however that person looks half naked or not, or if that person's genitals are extended or not, or there's semen or not. Now, -4 is for anger. Anger is when that person is being pursued based on blushing, for instance. Also movie stars and anyone else, doctors, persons walking on streets in anywhere. And the source of that person's sexual arousal and love is somebody else, or that person is not aroused at all, that is just, for instance, was running or whatever, doing something else. Then that is ends if there's a pursuit of sexual activity in anger. And so the more times that person says no and the others push that person on, the more that that person that is being pushed on in anger will end dead. Okay? And that is to know that then whoever is pushing that person on to force unwanted by the other sex and by that person is at fault, and that's called group stalking or harassment. Now, if that person pursues it self, that person also is at risk of death, and moreover, the person who defends self, if accused of being stubborn, not wanting that person, or read into because there's sexual arousal, as opposed to the other spouse, then has troops from China, Russia, or wherever that is, to come and break persons out from being raped. Okay? So now we understood, we're on the same page. The same is with all of men and persons' children. So that's number 4. Number 3 is the -3 is not so much anger, but discontent of being molested, meaning I don't want to, no, not doubt, I don't want to, meaning I am not interested, don't pursue me. And the closer it is to self, to physical presence and identification of that person and physical act, the more it escalates down. I don't want to, however, number 3, that scale can be stable. So some persons, the best that that person can offer, regardless of any other obstacles, is a love that is described as tolerance. So the person is okay in compassion to release self in a non-orgasm, and that's -3. -2 is when that person that is incompatible most of the time with pregnancy, however it is not as bad as the lower ones, so sometimes the uterus does not expel all of those tissues, and a person is able, it's not life risk to get pregnant. Some persons are able to withstand that pregnancy. Number 3, that is pity, sex out based on pity. Number 2 is sexual activity from So pity, that's more of a compassion, meaning there is loving kindness, and the other one, being in love with someone else or some, is allowed to have sex, forcing it from mechanical, for instance, stimulation. And that also may be that the child is then as if especially the other was, for instance, angry that the child will be loved because the other one was not disliked. Now number, that's minus 2, minus 1, that is being by the other non-rejected, meaning the other one, when is approached, decided that it is okay to pursue relationship. Minus 1 is also in rationalizing, meaning that sex is not unkind, and so that sex is also sex that is always permanently so, sex that is called emancipation, meaning others have sex, so as peer pressure I may as well, and it is asynchronous, and the emphasis is on stimulation from others, or it is also on a not so much stimulation from others, but asynchronous rubbing against one another, so fornication. Persons, for instance, for hours manipulate or kissing and tenderness, because there's less sexual arousal from being desired and desiring is less, so technicality is perpetuated and different positions. Now, from that we go to uh, nothing. All of this can become work. From last one being to the first one being well, self-defense, if that is possible, if that doesn't end in death, then the second one, the minus 4, different profession, is also defense. Number 3, then it would be then well, the degree of discomfort becomes a profession. I don't remember which professions there go, but just persons are confused to identity. That's it. The arousal may appear or may not appear. The whole point to know is that the two together as together as baseline, they cannot have sex more than above the described scale, and from rape to harassment, this is how it is escalating in pleasure. Now, plus 1 is sex in which both want that sexual activity but describe it as companion. The person is a companion. Sometimes it is also described as friendship. It means that the persons have as a scope common activities, and for instance activity like profession or helping others, watching movies, holding hands are higher. So persons, also gay relationships enter here, and persons then in activities being for instance common compassion for puppies, or having common trips together, enter into that category. Now that's plus 1. Plus 2, and such is sex. Sex is at the best an orgasm without experiencing a sexual having children. Children are most of the time rational plan, or plan if not him, it is okay because we share common passions. To be continued. We are at number 2 now, okay?